The most important evaluation cycle at Dodge City Community College, in my humble opinion, is the teacher evaluation cycle. Currently, during the first 2 years of employment, an instructor is evaluated by their supervising administrator once a semester. In years 3 and 4 of employment, the instructor is evaluated once a year. After the 4th year of employment, the instructor is tenured and is only evaluated once every 3 years. The evaluation process consists of an instructor self-evaluation form, an administrator evaluation form, an observational evaluation form, and up until about 2 years ago, there was a student evaluation conducted by a third party. The forms are pretty generic, and they're basically check boxes that offer very little insight into instructor effectiveness. The instructor self-evaluation and the administrator evaluation forms are actually the same forms, and I have copies right here. They include such insightful statements as, I assume responsibility in meeting classes and keeping office hours. I possess the appropriate expertise or experience for my teaching assignment. And we basically just mark either a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. A 1 is unsatisfactory and a 5 is very good. I hate marking 5s all the way down because I do not believe that you ever truly get good at this job, and I think the day you think you're good is the day you don't get any better. However, these questions are so generic that I really pretty much just mark 5s all the way down, and I don't even put comments in the blanks that follow. My administrator is a little better person than I am. She marks 5s all the way down, but she actually puts comments to support her evaluation. The observational form is not a whole lot better. It again is check boxes. It's like demonstrates knowledge of subject matter, manages instruction effectively, and basically you check yes, no, to some degree, not applicable, and there is room for comments. Our contract with the IDEA, who did our student evaluation form, expired a couple years ago, and we have not replaced that piece, and it is so we're lacking in student evaluations at this time. Last spring, I was on a committee whose goal was to improve the evaluation process and find a replacement for the student evaluations. Currently, we're looking into contracting with Smart Evals to handle that student evaluation piece. It has a lot of flexibility. We can kind of pick the outcomes we want the students to focus on, plus it works well with Canvas, which is our online platform. I think this is important. Some instructors do not value the student feedback in the same way I do, but I do really feel that they need a voice, even if I don't always like what that voice has to say about me. We are also looking at moving away from the generic checkbox forms and moving towards a more narrative self-evaluation and portfolio format. In the narrative, instructors would have the opportunity to share their philosophy, goals for the course, things they do that are unique or things they're proud of. Administrators would provide them with that quantitative data like course enrollment, pass rates, retention rates, stuff like that. And they could also address that and share any activities they do that helps make students successful. The portfolio would also give them opportunity to show activities, provide examples of community service or service to the college. It just give a broader perspective on the instructor as a whole. The evaluating administrator could then review the narrative and the portfolio and kind of make comments and provide feedback to the instructor. This would be a lot more effective than the check boxes, and it would encourage and help create a culture of continuous growth and improvement, which is what we should strive for. In addition to the formal observations, the administrators are also considering doing walkthroughs periodically and providing feedback to all instructors. I realize they wouldn't be in the class the whole time, so they get just a tiny picture, but it would give them a little more insight on the day-to-day operations, and it would let them see tenured teachers more than once every 3 years. Um, the planned observation is usually somewhat of a canned performance, so hopefully this would give administrators a little better feel for what the teacher actually does on a daily basis. They would need to do the walkthrough several times, and they would need to really provide constructive criticism and useful feedback. And instructors would have to learn not to get defensive when this happened, and I think that's probably going to be the most challenging part. Evaluations are sometimes seen as a punitive measure, and that kind of puts faculty on the defensive, and this mindset really needs to change if we're going to move forward as an institution. Now, we started this process last spring, but due to the ongoing global pandemic, we have not been able to implement any changes this semester. We're kind of waiting to see how finances shake out before we contract with the SMART evals for the student evaluation. And we're hoping to pilot some of these, the narrative and the portfolio next semester with some of the veteran faculty where we can show other faculty members examples. This kind of change is sometimes very hard, but I feel that it will measure teacher performance more effectively and make us better as an institution overall.